foremost, I want to just name that debt does not have to have a charge for us. And I say that pun fully intended. It doesn't have to be something that fires up in us feelings of shame, or it doesn't have to have any kind of morality ascribed to it whatsoever. There are a lot of reasons, I believe, that our capitalist economy has kind of ascribed character flaws to being in debt only for basically the working class. And I have a strong suspicion that it has a lot more to do with control than with responsibility. So notions of how bad it is to be in debt, how irresponsible you must be if you're in debt, how you must have made all of these wrong choices and you've been selfish, materialistic, lazy, irresponsible, miscalculating, whatever it is. Take a collective problem, we'll talk more about this in a minute, and deeply individualize it so that you just feel shame. You just feel immobilized. You just feel like it's all on you. You've made poor choices. You are in debt. This is bad. You should get yelled at by Susie Orman or whoever is popular to yell at people who are in debt. Dave Ramsey, another one, loves yelling. What's tricky is that usually those deeply individualized analyses don't take much into account about systems. And you can probably guess now, after hearing me talk about money for a few different modules, how I feel about that. Because if you're in a system where your cost of living is getting higher and higher in ways that you don't control, housing is getting more and more expensive, wages are stagnating or going down, jobs are harder to come by, and when they are come upon, don't include the same benefits, don't include the same support, and aren't as reliable. You've got an interesting picture that has a lot more to do with just like one person spending too much money. It's like, yeah, okay, maybe there was a lot of avocado toast purchased, as that kind of like famous cringy article about why millennials weren't buying houses claimed. It was like, oh, their lifestyle is too extravagant. They're buying, like $15 avocado toasts instead of paying for a house. And rightfully so, a lot of people wrote back being like, actually, I'm crushed under the weight of 6-figure student loan debt. There was no economic stability when I graduated from college, if I was even able to go to school. And I'm looking out at a job market that's being decimated and turned into contract labor and chopped into pieces. Some of you have heard this story before. I can't remember if I shared it already in a module in this program, but one of the things that I saw happen before my very eyes in my academic program was that a tenured position for one of my advisors got chopped into 3 different adjunct professor roles when he left. So there had been a line for a professor in my department where he was supporting a family on this salary. He had benefits. It was probably not a ton of money by some standards, but enough. Probably it was like $60,000 to $80,000 a year, which in academia is like winning the freaking jackpot. Like that's what I was going for. And that would have been like, you shot the moon. Instead, so he taught 3 classes a semester usually. When he left, that job got cut into an adjunct professor, including me, getting hired to teach 1 class at a time for $2,000 for the semester. No benefits, no security. and no cohesion. You weren't part of the faculty. You were this kind of adjunct labor force, a little bit more disposable. If I had said, no, that's not enough money and I really need health insurance, they would have been like, okay, we're going to offer it to another graduate student because they're desperate and they'll do it. And that was such an example to me on this teeny tiny scale. Obviously, I know anecdotes does not like an entire economic paradigm make, but it felt like a good window into what was happening on a systemic level where security is harder to come by. And when you talk to a lot of people right now about job prospects, there is a feeling, luckily, with COVID and with things shifting and some of the stimulus money, that there may be more options right now, which I think is wonderful. But for the most part, over the last 10 years, the vibe is generally that it's gotten harder and harder to count on steady, reliable jobs that will pay a wage, that will let you live comfortably, and that will support you in like mind, body, and spirit.